The following is a live broadcast of a Lone Star community radio program, recorded and broadcasted live on irlonestar.com, Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1, and facebook.com/irlonestar. For more information on this show, please visit our show page at irlonestar.com/shows. To sponsor or donate to this program, visit our donate page at irlonestar.com/donate, or email us at lscrstudios@gmail.com, or give us a call at 936-666-1084. Lone Star Community Radio production and broadcast is possible by folks like you. So sponsor and donate today.
You are listening to the Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCZW LP Conroe and 106.1 KZCC LP Conroe, and worldwide on irlonestar.com.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Toast to the Town with Christy and Mel. It's a gorgeous day in downtown Conroe.
Gorgeous and steamy.
I know. Well, it's steamy, but it's gorgeous.
It is. At least we got sunshine.
We have no clouds.
I know. And I get up in the mornings now because I don't watch the news because it's too dang depressing. And so I just get up and I say, Alexa, what's the weather like today?
I know.
And she's so nice. And she's like, good morning, Christy. This is the weather for today. And she actually told me it was going to possibly be raining today. So
really,
she was wrong.
Well, she didn't tell me that.
Unlike any other woman I know, she was not right. But I'm just saying. But it is a gorgeous day here in downtown Conroe, and it's so great. You know, I love it, especially when the weather's nice like this, and you get down here and you see all these people moving around and shops being open and people, interacting and everything. It does make you feel good. It's nice to see people out moving around, and all these crazy times, as we call them. I think it's so funny because I saw a meme the other day, and it was so true, and it said, everywhere else you go, people talk about, COVID, and here in Texas, we all say, well, these crazy times.
Yeah.
That's
kind of what they say.
We never,
There's a few other words.
There's some few choice words in there. Speaking of which, I've got the latest numbers for COVID that came out as of 3 p.m. yesterday.
I saw those.
And I really like the way that Commissioner Nowak frames these statistics, because he says total tested 53,064, and then he gives the negative rate. The negative rate is over 88%. I mean, it's only 12% of people that have been tested have actually tested positive, and out of that, the death rate is only 1.1% for a total of 69 deaths here in Montgomery County, and we've currently got 120 hospital beds that are occupied with COVID patients. The other 1,150 are with other reasons.
Yes.
So things are feeling pretty good around here.
Yeah, they are. But Montgomery County's doing fine. Yeah. Other places are not doing so fine. Yeah,
which explains, this list of events that I have sitting in front of me that I went and looked at, today. This, to me, it really goes into the guests on our show today. Because looking at the biggest events, other than one that I want to highlight right now because it actually starts at 2:30 today, there is a law enforcement appreciation parade that is starting at St. Mark Lutheran Church.
Right.
They are going to leave the church and go by Montgomery County Sheriff's Office and Conroe PD. You can, decorate your car with posters. You can do whatever you like, but they're all meeting at the church. It'll start at 2:30. I think that's a really great, wonderful thing because our law enforcement, all of our first responders really need our love and support right now. But other than that, 90% of the events that I have on this piece of paper right here include live music.
Woohoo.
And you know how fantastic that makes me feel because you know how much I love live music. And I've been really fortunate here lately to be able to have the time and the ability to go out and check out some of these shows. And so, as rough as times are, and I know people are still feeling uneasy, and if you feel uneasy about going into the public, by all means stay at home. But it really is great to see people out and about and see live music thriving and see some of these great restaurants and venues that also serve food coming back online. And doing really great things. Yeah, over
half food.
Yeah, well, and they've changed some of that. We've got some new updated information. Deacon Baldy's is going to be able to reopen.
Really?
Yes, because they are working to, give some opportunities to these businesses instead of closing them down. Prohibition, which is in Old Town Spring. I know they serve food because I've eaten there before. But they have somehow been able to change the reporting methods and still fall into the guidelines to be included as a restaurant. So they're reopening back up. So there are some good things that are happening. You know, businesses are still out there fighting to get back, and it really is very, very comforting to see.
Yep, we need it.
Yeah, we do.
need it.
We do. So some of the live events that I found that are going on this week include there's an acoustic night tonight at Goose's Acre in the Woodlands. On Thursday, we have Orion at Pacific Yard House, Rock the Row at Hughes Landing, which is got Mechanics Rocks, which is a classic rock band. Curtis Grimes is going to be at Do-Si Do. Then you get into Friday, and you've got 2 shows going on at Pacific Yard House. You've got Johnny Riley and the Hired Guns, and then you've got Jesse Roach coming on after them. You've got Daniel Holmes doing an acoustic show at Monty's Lighthouse out on 105 by the lake. You've got, Glenn Templeton at Do-Si Do on Saturday, along with Philip Griffin and our friend Benny Bryant at Pacific Yard House. You've got Guadalajara's has Don Martinez and Raising Cane. You got Slags and Bama Breeze Sounds over at Margaritaville on Saturday. And then on Sunday, you've got Track Shack has got Classic Country Sunday with live music with their food service that they've got there. And then you got sprinkled in there, you've got the Old Town Spring Farmers Market on Friday. You've got the Farmers Market on Tamina that starts at 9 a.m. on Saturday. And then there's this great grand opening in Montgomery called Frio's Gourmet Pops. Gourmet popsicles, if you will. And that is going to be in Montgomery. Their grand opening starts at 12, and they are doing buy one, get one all day long.
Ooh.
I know. Ooh. So new businesses coming in.
That's awesome.
That's encouraging. And a lot of that has to do with the amazing economic life and environment that we have here in Conroe and Montgomery County. Nice to see.
I'd like to add a note to that.
Sure.
When Orion is at, I think it's Thursday, he's going to be. I saw Caleb as
Holscher is going to be there tonight.
He's going to be there tonight.
I think
thought
so.
he was also going to be there with Orion on
Maybe so.
Thursday.
Maybe so.
Know.
I did
But
see.
anyway.
I did see Caleb pop up right as I was coming in. As a matter of fact, so I didn't get to write it down. But yeah, Caleb.
I just love him.
Formerly with the Homegrown Tomatoes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's nice to see businesses still working through this, and live music is out there. So don't forget to support your local businesses, your local restaurants, your venues.
Right.
Support these artists. Support your bartenders and your waitresses. They're working their butts off to keep everything going too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Okay. Well,
I'm going to shut up now.
are you?
I feel like I just had a big long soliloquy.
Well, you did.
I know, but it was a good one.
But today we have people with us.
Yes.
People with us that are famous in their own right.
That's right.
Or in their own minds.
Absolutely,
One of the two.
I know, and musically inclined as well.
Yes. Well, that's kind of what I was talking to when I said famous. Anyway, we have, and you have so many titles. I don't know exactly quite which one to use, but it would be Raymond McDonald. He is first and foremost a pastor at the church.
The Vineyard Church.
The
Conroe.
Vineyard Church. Okay, and then he is a musician. And a good
Esteemed musician.
Esteemed.
By the stack of CDs that I have sitting in front of me.
Yes, and he is also a Conroe City Councilman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any other titles?
Dad.
Husband, father.
Yes.
Father
I got
knows.
11 kids, so Dad
Yeah,
really.
yeah,
can,
Dad
gets
works.
Dad's a big
certified.
one. Yeah, and always such a huge supporter of not only local businesses here, but also of live music.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And then we also have with us Mr. Frank Jackson,
Who has a couple of titles of his
who
own.
has a couple of titles on his own and actually worked really hard to get Conroe designated as an official music-friendly city with the state of Texas. How are you doing, Mr.
I'm doing
Jackson?
well. Good morning. Thank you
Good
for
to
having me.
see. Oh, so glad to have you both. And, I'm fans of y'all's. Not only have I heard y'all at Pacific Yard House, but I've also heard you live at the Conroe Cajun Catfish Festival, as well as a few other places. And
Parade recently.
and-
Well, it wasn't recently, but
Yeah.
it seems like it was.
and music has just been in y'all's bones for forever.
That's correct. And that's kind of the way that Frank and I met. Actually, I met him in '96 when I was touring at the time as the Sleepy Ray and the Mighty Bloods. We came through and bought a guitar from him here. He was the manager at Guitar Center.
Really?
Working there at that time. And we met at that time and So years later, he would come to my home group as I came back and was a pastor. I moved back from L.A., and he came over and said, "Oh yeah, we knew each other, and we've been playing together. He's been playing. He plays acoustic guitar behind me and sings with me, and we're like brothers." He'd been out in L.A. too, so he'd had the same similar background.
Well, and that was one of the things I was going to say. Y'all's chemistry on stage together is always really fun because y'all have like these really subtle nods and kind of way that y'all communicate. But the jams are fantastic. But it's just, it really is. It's fun. You can really tell that family feel, especially between the two of you. You can tell there's a really.
And the bass player is my brother Bobby McDonald, who is also part of. I mean, he's the worship pastor of the church, so we do everything together, kind of thing. So it's cool.
That look is usually like a bad note or something I'm playing. That's why that happens.
It's me eyeballing it.
Yeah. That's not the same chord we're supposed to be playing, Frank. That's what that look means.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I didn't know that. So
That's right.
it all just got swept under
Keep
the
those
rug.
legs moving. They'll forget all about that bad note.
So how did y'all get involved with live music? I mean, was there a particular band that inspired you to, pick up the guitar to start singing? Because, this always intrigues me because usually there's always one artist that really said, yeah, this, that's the one.
I can't speak for Frank in that, obviously, but for me, certainly growing up in East Houston, Elvis Presley was the first thing that I really heard that lit me up. So I started playing guitar when I was very young. When I was 2, I had a guitar.
Wow.
And of course, all you played then was getting hit in the head with your brother. It crashed over your head. But Elvis Presley, and then obviously the blues were played a lot over there. It was an all African-American community that I lived in, and so soul and blues were big. And then when I'd go home, it was all Hank Williams. So those were the folks who really lit me up. And then being my age now, I mean, the 70s were filled with, just replete with all kinds of rock and roll. So that was 1975 was the year where the greatest music was being made. So you got to know that was influential.
And
too.
and that was the year I was born, so there's got to be a coalition.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't like that. We don't want to talk about that.
Just saying, it might be the music that's in my bones. What about you, Frank?
Well, I have a large style that really inspired me. Listened to my mom play Rod Stewart and the Eagles and that kind of stuff when I was younger. But it was probably the fever really hooked when I saw Van Halen and David Lee Roth, in 1984.
Those were good times.
Well, that
Good
just
days,
was. I
good
just
days.
realized that that's fun. I mean, that's a lot of debauchery too, which is not fun.
Right.
But there was a lot of good times, and
Yep.
and I just stopped racing bicycles, and that's what I wanted to do
Yeah.
after I saw that, and it was.
And then it was all over since then, huh? So how did you, tell me about the process of getting Conroe recognized as a music-friendly city? Because I know there are still probably a few people out there that aren't aware of it.
Sure.
But I think it's such a cool designation because it's not like you just find that designation all over the state.
No, the state of Texas, in I believe it was '94, developed the Texas Music Office underneath the governor. And so when Governor Abbott came on board, they had a new music director, and that was Brendan Anthony, who had been a longtime friend of mine. He played fiddle with Pat Green, and I distributed all those records back in the late '90s and the early 2000s. So I knew about the designation. The first one was in Fort Worth, where it's the company I work for, Smith Music Group, is in the stockyards in Fort Worth. So I knew about that designation. And so I wanted to bring that obviously here to Conroe, being a resident for my whole life, and then involved with so much music that I've been my entire career. It just made sense. And so we just started working on that. I asked Mayor Powell, and he sent me to the Visitors Bureau to talk to Shannon Overby, and that's really spearheaded everything to get that going. And in December of 2018, we were designated a Texas music-friendly community. And we were the 7th one total at the time, and the first one in the whole Houston area. So we're proud to have that.
That's great.
And since there, in the last year and a half, you're probably going, what does a music-friendly community mean in Conroe? Well, it's really just a board of people that are underneath the Visitors Bureau that focus on music, events. Tourism is a big part of revenue for our city, and any city really, to bring people here. Obviously, having a lot of venues and places for people to go, it creates the quality of life here in Conroe. And so it kind of made sense for us to do that, and that's really how we ended up there right now. And a year and a half later, we kind of got stalled, obviously, with the COVID set us
Right.
back. But the year that we were operating on a board, we consolidated some event packets and made it a lot more simple to bring an event to Conroe. Previously, it was a lot of headaches. You had to go through multiple pages online to figure out what to do. You know that with the Catfish Festival. There's a lot that goes into bringing an event here with security and the city and everything. So we've made that a little more simple process, as well as created an outdoor venue permit, annual permit for outdoor venues, because previously there wasn't one, or the one that was on the books only allowed for 3 events a month. So that doesn't work if you're like Southern Star, if you want to have music all weekend. Well, it didn't work. So we got that kind of cleaned up. And then there's a youth music initiative that we're working on for the future to bring opportunities for underprivileged kids as well as others, like a school of rock, if you will, and to teach people really from wrapping up a mic cable to wrapping on a mic. We want to teach them that whole process and keep them out of trouble and give them things to do.
Well, and music is such a huge thing for feeding the soul and healing the soul, which is another one of the things that I love about your music is you play some amazing gospel music. Yeah. And it's not your great grandmother's gospel music so much.
No, it ain't.
Although it's got some hints in there.
Yeah.
But do you write all of your own music?
Yes, I do. Matter of fact, that songwriting was, as soon as I started playing guitar, I started songwriting as a kid. And so songwriting was always a big deal to me, which kind of wasn't great because everyone wanted to do covers and everything. And I was generally a lead singer in cover bands until I lost my voice screaming at a Texas A&M football game where I was at schooling.
Oh,
and
I've been there.
At that point, I became picked up an electric guitar, and my brother says I must have made a deal with the devil because immediately that really went well for me. I moved to L.A. and was cited as one of the best new blues guitar players to come to the city, which I figured I better figure out what key I was in if that was what it was. But I was always a songwriter, and songwriting is more important to me even than the lead playing, which you get if you're a really good guitar player, people really will see you as a lead player and try to push you into that. Other bigger bands would try to take me on the road as a guitar player, but it was always I want to write, which again about kills your career. If you're a songwriter, you're killed dead from anyone else.
Yeah.
So you're dead to me.
Well, I know that y'all bring the same electricity to your church services as well, too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't believe in going out and playing something in a club, which we play. I've always played clubs a lot. When I lived in L.A. and same with Frank when he was out there, that's where you play. You play the clubs. And then I was called the Reverend Sleepy Ray. Again, my title, Honorable Reverend Sleepy Ray. Mel gets it all in there, But yeah, I was because they said you preach the blues. Well, I had already been called to be a preacher, but I was doing everything I could to not answer that call. But that phone kept ringing. So
it's funny. It's funny how he doesn't hang up the phone very often. He just keeps calling back to answer.
And I tell you, I drank a lot of malt liquor to kill that call. It kept ringing. But the thing is that. That's one of the things we want to bring when we play out at Yard House. We're playing the same songs for the most part. We're playing in church, and if I'm leading, now if I'm not leading, it's someone else. They're not going to play the song, my songs all the way. They're going to play their own. But that's it. Songwriting was ticketed that to write songs that meant something to me, but were in a genre of music that meant something to me. And when I first released my first album in 1995. I got so many letters from people who said, thank you for finally writing something we enjoyed to listen to. And a lot of these guys were bikers and stuff, so they couldn't listen to Led Zeppelin. I listen to all kinds of music. I'm not someone who's just geared toward gospel or something that way, but these guys, if they listened to Led Zeppelin, they ended up doing a lot of bad things. It kind of had whatever it was.
Correlation.
They correlated in a way that was bad. They'd tell me what it was. It was bad. And so they was, thank you that you're writing something we can party down to and still praise Jesus.
And still feel good about it.
Yeah. That's it.
That's amazing. And I am one of those firm believers of the power of music to change, to evolve someone, to find joy, work through sadness, because music does have that magical power. And to have something that people can really, pick up the rhythm to and let it get in their soul, and then also have this message, and before they know it, they may not have even really been much of a believer beforehand, but before they know it, they're singing the words, and then they're believing it and feeling it in their heart.
Oh, I tell you, I played Switzerland a lot, and they love Texas blues guys there, and played there a lot. And they would. I remember Bernie. He was Swiss, and he would loan me the back line, as they call it. And so I'd borrow a guitar from him. I'd only fly one over there, and I'd do all the gear. And he'd say, I really like you. I don't care much about that Christian or that stuff, but you got a good band. And I remember playing one show. It was a large hall. We played very large halls over there. And he came up crying after the concert. And I never preached. I just played the music.
Right.
And they couldn't understand me anyhow. And if you have a German interpreter, nothing sounds nice. You say, God loves you. How do you tell you that? So you don't really want to talk. So, but he came and said, I really got it tonight. I got it tonight. And it's just the music that really and we played a lot. I remember people come down going, they don't allow Christians to play here anymore. And there's never been a Christian band play in these places. These places were built in the 15 to 1700s, and they were beautiful palatial type, tiered places. And I'd do How Great Thou Art, but like maybe Otis Redding would do it. It had a B3 player and stuff. And people would just stop and just crying. So you're right. They didn't even know what we were saying, but the music speaks. And that's why I don't believe that everything has to be certainly lyrical for folks to get. What is in you is a prophetic thing, a sense of God calling in. Even before I was writing that way, that was coming through the guitar playing, and I hope so, anyhow.
Wow. That's powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope so.
That is amazing. Well, so Frank, you said you were in L.A. for a bit too, right? Mm-hmm. So what, were you on the same scene?
Yeah, pretty much. Just I was about 7 or 8 years behind them. Mm-hmm. I went to Los Angeles in January 19th, 1994, the same day as the Northridge earthquake.
Oh.
Which just happened to be
Wow.
where our house was.
Oh.
And talking about not listening.
Times.
We were a mile apart here.
Yeah.
We didn't even know it.
And talk about not listening to God, right? I mean, there's a big earthquake there. Frank, do not go to California. I'm going to be a rock star. I'm going. So, yeah, I went out there, and my actual last gig was today's date, August 5th, because it's my daughter's birthday, Leah.
Wow.
She's 31 today, but 25 years ago, it was my last gig in Los Angeles, was at the Troubadour.
It's a good place
August
for it
5th,
to be.
1995. Mm-hmm. Yeah. At the time, it was just another place to play. I didn't realize how special it really was.
Yeah.
But it really, looking back now, and it was great that I had an opportunity to do that. A lot of people go out there, and, you never know what's going to happen in your life. So you just got to show up and say yes and try, and you never know.
Yeah.
So it didn't work out for me. I had to come home, and I had a dream that I could always play music.
Yeah.
But I had one opportunity to be a father, and that meant a lot to me, to be a dad, being adopted and stuff. So I just came back home to raise my girls, and here we are.
And the rest is history. And now you're changing history for Conroe, and I know we want to take a break, so I know it's about that time. But when we come back, I want to talk about all the things that y'all have done to help support local businesses through all this craziness. I want to talk more about music because I want to find out who your new inspiration is, or inspirations are. Eventually the mouth is going to work with the brain. If you are tuning in and you're headed out for lunch, make sure you are listening to us either on irlonestar.com, or that you are tuning in to Facebook Live and listening and watching us, or you can listen to us on 104.5 or 106.1 on the FM dial. If you're in the Conroe area, I know. And we're going to toast because this has been awesome so far. You're listening to Toast the Town with Christy and Mel, and we will be right back.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Toast to the Town with Christy and Mel here in beautiful downtown Conroe, and we are here for the second half of the show.
Yes, which means we are officially over halfway through the week.
I mean, it's hump,
Thank goodness.
hump day, hump hour.
Thank goodness.
Yeah,
we're
we're on the fun side of
And
week.
I was having this conversation too, that the weeks seem to drag on, but the days go by so slow. But then all of a sudden, here we are. We're already in August. School starts next week.
I know.
It's just like wham.
Are your
all of a
kids
sudden.
going back?
My kids go to Willis, and they are starting virtual school on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. They will be back at school for some extracurricular activities, so cheerleading practice and football practice. And Katie has to go because she's in culinary arts, so she has to go up to the school. So but everything else will be online until at least September the 7th.
And he starts the 19th, and is doing straight in school instruction. She has an alternative that she
Yeah.
can do partial, but we're going all in.
Well, if they would let my kids go back, they would go back. Not
Sure.
only from my opinion, but the kids are ready to go back.
Right.
I think
And
we're
that's-
all just kind of.
That's kind of what's going on, I think.
Well,
anyway.
and it's hard, I mean, they're fixing to start, there'll be sophomores and they're, getting into, trig and, class physics and, biology
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and, they need that instruction. And,
Yeah, they do.
and I know it's such a hard balancing act right now between, teachers and staff and keeping them safe and keeping kids safe. But,
And I got to go back to work, so I really like her to go back to school.
for real. You know what I saw? I did see that the YMCA is actually opening up learning center locations so that parents that need to can take their kids there to do their online instruction so they can have
Oh,
some
very
assistance.
cool.
And,
Very cool.
and parents can, still go back to work because it's a real concern. I don't know, what I would do if mine were younger. I know that I've got lots of friends that are trying to figure that out as we speak.
I agree.
And it really is very, very challenging. And in fact, if you're out there and you're still unemployed or in a situation and you need to work, I saw the greatest hint today. Go apply to be a substitute teacher in these local school districts because they will need you. Mm-hmm. So go do that.
Yep.
Anyway, we're
Okay,
here.
so much
We're here
done.
today.
We're
I know.
here today.
Back to the fun stuff.
Okay, and one of the things we haven't addressed really is Raymond is on city council. So is there anything exciting going on, or are you guys just kind of making it through that?
Well, that's a really good question, Mel. It really is. I mean, there are exciting things going on, and certainly it's with COVID shut down, we do Zoom meetings, which makes it a little harder, but we've done really well here recently. It's we're doing well with that. But the main thing is, it is my question as we're shut down in a political season too. That makes things always a little touch and go. But I'm very interested in making sure that we continue as a city, and I think we all are as council and mayoral to move forward and do things. And downtown is a big place we're really pushing heavily upon to see it really blossom down here with incentivizations and things of that nature. Budget comes up we're already into budget talks, so it'll be voted on.
Right.
And seeing some of the things that's there, like to me, one of the things that I've really pushed on that mean a lot to me is Alligator Creek and it becoming something more than just a ugly drainage ditch. and the first phase being that we have a sidewalk going in from Roberson Park over on Fraser that's going to go all the way to Candy Cane Park.
Oh, great.
That's
Awesome.
already budgeted. That's going to be
That's
done.
awesome.
That's
and so
wonderful.
you'll see that happening. We're doing other things also to try to maybe bring not maybe bring it. We have it on our calendar, or budget calendar, to get it done in the next 5 years, a quiet zone here in downtown. But it starts with a fencing that's going to be going down the railroad tracks, because we can't have a quiet zone here if people are crossing the tracks. They're going to blow the horn anyhow.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you'll see that as the first stages of that. But just also we're just trying to see things change downtown where we can see businesses blossom. We already see some businesses starting. Honor Cafe opened up over there in the middle of COVID.
Fantastic.
And, big hand clap for them. Also, Daryl's Catering, he started his barbecue
Right.
place up right in the middle of COVID. There's a young man who's at the end of my street, Galavance. He's got a coffee cart.
You know what? I heard about that. I heard it's fantastic coffee, too.
It is. His name's Brad Bailey, and I'm telling you, you pull up there on the street. We're trying to get him downtown, and you might see him downtown in the next couple of weeks. We want to be very sensitive to our brick and mortars, and we're going to do that. But we respect all the ones that are here too. But finding a place that we can see things happening downtown, and that's what we're looking for, to see downtown happen, and just a lot going around the city. But I'm just focusing there quickly to see that that's one of the things that we're hoping to see happen soon.
That's great.
Well, and I think it's such a testament too. With the courthouse largely being closed to actual trials and so forth. that there's still a lot of activity going on down here.
lot.
You know, because this has become such a great destination for people to come shop and live and eat and everything else. You know, we saw Vernell's take over the full coffee shop, and I know she's serving a great lunch and has been doing well.
Right.
I got to go. It was my second time to go to Honor Cafe, but I actually ate there yesterday. Fantastic food,
man.
and it's so different than what I expected. I was thinking, oh, okay, well, this is just going to be, you know, your traditional hometown, you know, home cooked meal. But they put an amazing chef splash on it. Their food is really
they
good.
went and got a really good chef who's
Yes.
in there. And again, what I love is that I see so much camaraderie between the restaurants around here. I know that Teak over at Yard House is so proud they're opening. He's trying to do everything to help.
Yes.
Rodney's out. We'd love to see Rodney be able to open up again
know.
over here in Corner Pub, but you know, it's and over here at Copperhead, they're putting in a food. You know, plank in there in a sense.
Right.
It's a I don't want to call it a shed, but it's you know, but they're putting
Right.
in the a little food thing in there to get that going. So we're going to see a lot explode. COVID's going to push some things out. The hard
Right.
times really bring about some great things. I'm done with the hard times.
Yes.
But I'm just glad to see people still putting their money and investing there. And I encourage people to go out and and go to these places. They have social distancing. It's safe to go. I eat out a lot, and so I just encourage that in downtown. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Right.
you know, and even these evening shows over at Pacific Yard House, what I think is so smart is whenever you go to buy tickets for some of these events, you actually have to reserve an entire table. And it's still they're still very low ticket prices considering what they could be charging, but that way you're in a table with people that you know, so you're social distancing with a crowd that you're familiar with, so it helps build up that confidence that you're going to be safe, but you can still go enjoy.
Absolutely. And I know we played over there Sunday, not this Sunday, but last Sunday, and all the tables were full. And bands are having to take less money, and that's just part of it. We're all
Right.
trying to make sure everything works well for that. But I mean, it really is great to play these places because people are serious about showing up. They've come for the music.
Right.
They've bought
Yes.
a table.
Right.
They're committed now. You know?
Yes.
It's good.
Yeah, it is good. And speaking of the way that businesses are evolving through all of this, I know Blue Epiphany, which is going to be opening up a new tasting room downtown
That's
as well.
right. It's fantastic.
I'm so excited about
I am
that.
too.
And they've got their other location open, and they have figured out a way to still conduct business. So if you're looking for some great wine, you need
Right.
to go check out our friends over at Blue Epiphany because they're doing some great things.
Absolutely are.
Yeah, and also supporting law enforcement as retired officers that they are, and
Yeah.
which is also a really great thing. And then, which is a little bit off topic, but one of the other things that I saw that was going on with the city of Conroe is the new water park is opening up.
Yeah, it is. My kids are over there right now.
Really?
Yeah, today was the first day. I just sent a bunch of them over there today.
Wow.
I just drop them
I
off.
should have brought my
I
swimsuit.
don't give them any ID. I just
Go away.
Go.
Go Splash. I think most parents, especially including those that don't have 11 children, but any parents that have been stuck with their kids since March are kind of in the same boat. Go play. Go outside. But it is kind of interesting. I was having this conversation with, I don't remember who, that was talking about how they think water, especially chlorinated water in pools and stuff, will actually kill COVID virus. And so they're saying that, that's actually, we've got the Big Waters or Big River Water Park or whatever, and you've got the new City of Conroe Water Park opened up. But they're saying it's still really safe for kids because the chlorine water just kind of cleanses everything, and so that's a great thing.
No, I think it's fantastic. Again, I was over in MLK Park a couple of days ago, driving over there, and just seeing people. That's a beautiful park over there.
Yes,
If
it
you
is
ever go-
gorgeous.
And little water park there, and it was just packed with people. They were distanced out, but I mean, just people were utilizing it, and I love that.
Yeah. Well, and I think everybody's looking for, as hot as it is, we're all looking for ways to enjoy it. And, it's not always the easiest thing to find a way to, be recreational on the lake if you don't have a boat or if you don't live in a community that has water access or whatever. But everybody's looking for stuff to do to get outside. So having that available and it's such a great area that's safe for kids is such a wonderful thing for us to have.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree with
and
that.
everything, and I've always loved the City of Conroe Water Park. It's always been awesome. But then whenever they started pulling all this stuff out and putting this new stuff in,
Yeah.
it was like, what?
Yeah, that was exciting.
I know, big time.
So Frank, what you got going? You got anything going on? The committee, you guys doing anything exciting?
Well, with the music committee, we
Have sort of tabled things?
yeah, we're really at a standstill. I mean, we met about 6 weeks ago. We'll meet again probably about at the end of August,
Okay.
just to kind of see where we're at, what's opening, what's up. It is good to see Do-Si-Do finally getting back
Yes.
open tomorrow with Curtis Grimes
Yes,
and,
it's gonna be a
getting
great
that
show.
going. So slowly things are dripping back, which is great.
Yeah,
Good.
you know, and I'm ready for the City of Conroe First Thursday concerts to come
Yeah.
back if they can ever figure that out, because that would, you know, that they had a great lineup,
Right,
and
they did.
so seeing those come back would be.
I did see something on that yesterday, like in September all the way through October. They're like doing them every 2 weeks.
That's great. That's
instead
fantastic.
of one.
Double down, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, and you guys, you know, being such supporters of live music, you know, as well as, you know, City of Conroe, you know, y'all played at Conroe Cajun Catfish Festival, and we're still trying to move forward with that, which is the second weekend in October. You know, and we're really hopeful that we're going to be able to pull that off
Yeah,
as well.
Me too.
And the city has been very supportive of us, and are working with us to make sure that we comply and that we're doing everything safely and that we're, you know, listening to all the right people. But it will be nice to be able to see some of these larger events come back.
Yes, and it will be. And again, I mean, there's deep concern to mainly what you put your money down and you really invest in something, and then you have to cancel it at the last minute, and that gets people very afraid because something can come down from on high that can just shut it all down, and so it takes a lot of courage, and that's why I applaud these
Right.
businesses opening up and bars that have opened up because they're really hurting the bars right now.
Yes.
And I know my daughter, she runs Mavericks over there, and they're trying to get a kitchen open to stay afloat.
Yes.
And I just applaud them for trying to make it work.
Well, and also to investing money into
Yes.
at a time where it's kind of scary to invest money in
Right.
a lot of things, and still trying to make it work. And that's why I think it's so important that everybody needs to keep encouraging each other to go and, you know, support these local businesses, support your wait staff, because, you know, they're working their tails off. They're trying to support themselves in a really challenging time, especially for them. But, you know, and then you've got all these great artists who, you know, one of my only great things that really came out of COVID, especially during the quarantine time, were these great Facebook live concerts that we got to experience because, you know, as artists, I know y'all feel the same way. Just because we're in quarantine doesn't mean you can shut down that need to put out your art.
No. I think those of us who are extroverts struggle. Those who are introverts just love it. You know, but it's getting to the place where even the introverts are about to explode. You know that's difficult, right? Isn't it, Frank? Isn't it?
Well, I've been social distancing before it was cool. Working from home for 20 years.
Yeah.
And it's been kind of.
Tell
Okay.
us a little bit more about exactly what you do. We've talked about your work
Sure.
with the committee, but what you know, when I called you a marketing genius, a musical marketing genius, but I know about that. But why don't you tell everybody kind of what you do?
Well, I've been distributing music for people for about 25 years now. I started in Houston at a place called Southwest Wholesale that was really big in rap music and Latino music. And I worked there in the marketing department, learning, getting new stores acquired and things like that. And then I moved over to the distribution side because they didn't have anyone to do country music.
Ooh, well, thank goodness.
Yeah. So I started that whole division of the country part of Southwest Wholesale, which did really well. We initiated with Shane Media a Texas music chart, which had never been done at the time. And it was really a collaboration of all the small stations around the state and then Oklahoma and Louisiana and Arkansas that basically played Texas music, played the artist. Back then, it was the late 90s, so it was a lot of Corey Morrow, Pat
good times.
Green,
Good
Jack
times.
Ingram, all those guys, Bruce Robeson, Kevin Fowler, Jason Boland, Cross Canyon Ragweed. all of those guys I started distributing and really having a lot of success with. I developed a lot of marketing programs, which you might have think of that part came in at, but it was really the marketing programs were a way to get attention for independent music, because this is before digital.
Yes.
So it wasn't easy to get your record on the shelf.
Right.
And we had stores like Walmart, Warehouse Music, Borders. They had Texas music sections dedicated to this music.
Yeah.
So it really exploded and created a lot of great opportunity. That was right at the time when Pat Green got signed to Universal. Yep. So it was a really exciting time, and it really lit a wildfire. Tons of artists now. I'm seeing third generation of artists now. I used to think it was weird. I'd see someone doing a cover song of Cross Canadian Raglan.
I know.
But now it's normal. It's really great to
Yep.
see that it just keeps going.
Yeah.
A lot of people are in business now, being in the radio business and doing that, trying to help artists. So it's been a great ride, really.
Yeah.
It's been an opportunity to be in the room and help people and support the arts, which is real big for me. Music art, any kind of art is really great for the community, and it's just been a blessing to live your love.
Yep.
What you do it's not really work. It's just kind of what you do. And as it turned now, we've built quite a catalog that we distribute at smithmusic.com. And we have, probably 300-400 different artists that we've
Wow.
done over the years. Live recordings from Billy Bob's. A lot of legend guys we have done. We just lost Charlie Daniels.
Yes.
I had the pleasure of recording him about 5 years ago. Willie Nelson, John Conley. Gary Stewart's last record he ever made was live at Billy Bob's. So those are all things that we had our hand in over the years, and we've done 50. The last one we did was last year with Tracy Bird, and he was our 51st recording.
Wow.
And our 50th artist that we've done since 1998.
That is amazing. And he's such a great guy, too.
Incredible human
Yeah,
being.
just a really nice. I remember I was booking him, or he was booking. This is when I worked for K-Star, and they had booked him, and we were trying to set up an interview time and trying to set up a meet and greet, for some winners and stuff. And I was like, well, I need to get that contact information. And they were like, okay. And so they say, okay, well, Tracy's going to call you. I said, Tracy who? Well, Tracy Bird. And I was like, what? And I was so shocked. And then I got to talk to him, and he was just,
Hi, Christy. How's it going?
how's it going? Just the nicest guy. But I love to, in talking about the rise of the Texas music, red dirt music, however you want to play it, those were some of my best music days, and really what got me really falling in love with live music, because, I was going through college, and right after that, was meeting Kevin Fowler. I remember meeting him right after Beer Bait and Ammo came out, and hanging out with Corey Morrow and Pat Green and Cross Canadian, and seeing them at shows, and it's so funny how now you have all of these cover bands, or all of these bands that are covering their songs, and I don't feel that old.
Yeah, that was my whole point.
But it's so great to see, because especially a band like Cross Canadian that is no longer with us, which still makes me sad. But to see this music live on is so inspiring, especially with some of these young artists that are coming up.
And I can tell you, we distribute a lot of that catalog still today, and it's still relevant today as it was 20 years ago. It's constantly being consumed and listened to and streamed. So it's
Everywhere.
great for everyone, really.
Yeah, I remember walking into Walmart the first time I noticed a Texas music section in the music department, and it was like, oh my gosh.
Well, that was no easy feat. I mean,
can
we
imagine.
had it in like 450 Walmart stores, a designated 18-foot section with signage and everything, and featuring the chart and all that. So it was a big deal. But,
Yeah.
and it really helped those guys a lot, and it increased their revenue quite a bit for
Yep.
their record sales and things like that back when we used to be able to sell records.
Yeah. Well, and I remember,
CDs.
that whole Live from Billy Bob series, I think I have every single one of those that y'all put out.
you.
And one of my favorite ones was Daryl Dodd's. But there were so many great ones, but I have every single one of those. I probably have over half still in physical form, because I still have my CDs. I don't think I have a CD player, but I've got my CDs, and I still keep my cases, because those were just, to me, those were
They were
art.
done well.
Yeah.
Asleep
were
at the
done
Wheel
well.
was my favorite.
Asleep at the Wheel
And my
was a
kids
good
went
one.
they went to school every day listening to Asleep at the Wheel. And when Sleepy Will came to Crichton, I took my daughter over there with me, and it was really funny to meet her. You know, she at the time was maybe 13 years old, and my children are African American. So I've got this 13-year-old African American girl, and she's just enamored with Ray. And he's like, she's listening to my album. Yeah, she loves it
Every day.
Yeah, every day.
Yeah, but and if I don't have them all in physical form, I do have them in digital format, and you know, because. And Billy Bob's is still alive and kicking, right? Or they shut down right now?
No, they're opening back up here pretty soon. As soon as the state
exciting.
will allow them
Yeah.
to. They had to furlough a bunch of employees and have a skeleton crew right now. But that's a big beast up there, Billy Bob's.
Yes, it is.
It's over 2 acres of a bar that holds
Yeah.
6,500 people when it's at capacity with the live bull rink and store and you name it. It's quite the establishment.
Yes.
And we're looking forward to them being around for quite a while because they've been up and running since '81. So next year will be a big anniversary for them.
Yeah.
And you name it, they've rolled through Billy Bob's
That is so true.
at some point in time in their career. And that's when we do these live recordings, we joke with people and tell them we catch you on the way up or the way down. You know?
One or the other.
There's been a few that we caught on the way up and been a
on
great
the way down.
catching lightning in a bottle, like Randy Rogers. Live
Yes.
Billy Bob's was a great. It was almost a
Great.
sold out night.
Yes.
Stoney LaRue
Yep.
and sound checking, considering doing Oklahoma Breakdown, but wasn't quite sure if it was going to be a good enough song. And it's pretty
then
much
look
a
what it
song
did.
that be career song
Yes.
for him.
Yep.
Now, so we've been able to capture a lot of cool moments like that, and really kind of like a Polaroid of history of what of what's going on for the last 20 years
Yep.
in the music scene in Texas.
Yeah, and it's so exciting, and and the reason why I asked about Billy Bob's is we lost Big Texas in spring, which to me was a big loss because I'm still one of those that wants to bring back that community, BYOB dance, with the live music,
Yeah.
which is what we grew up on.
That's what I do.
And so to see these dance halls get so affected is really
Well, it's hard, and in those, if you don't own the building, you got to pay rent, and there's no revenue coming in. It's hard to stay afloat. And,
Yeah.
Billy Bob's pretty set up there.
Yeah, that's
with
true.
All that.
That's
so
true.
They're a little more protected than a lot, but we've lost a lot of great little places all over the state that
Yes.
they're not going to be able to hang on there. Some are hanging on like a loose tooth, waiting things to open up, and some are just not going to make it.
Yeah, well, and I know that y'all do so much not only to support, the arts. I know y'all work with Greater Conroe Arts Alliance, which is, so supportive of not only all of the arts here in Conroe, Montgomery County, but also these great youth individuals that are so amazingly talented.
Yeah.
And bringing them here to showcase them, and that's so exciting. And I know for me, as a member of this community, it really gives me a lot of heart and hope to know that we have leadership here in the city that's actually working to keep that going and is so supportive of that because it really does help make the whole community. So, I appreciate y'all stepping forward to not only champion the efforts of all these great arts, but also, Raymond, I know you've been on city council for a while, and Frank, I know you're looking to run for council, but having that support and that leadership that's stepping forward to support such a vital part of our community that sometimes still gets overlooked is so important. So I personally thank you for doing that.
Well, thank you.
I know it's a lot of commitment, it's a lot of
It
hard
is,
work,
yeah.
but it shows your true love and devotion for this community. Absolutely.
Right.
And so now I got to ask you one question that I got to know. So looking at the Texas artists that are around here right now, and not just Texas, but who the current you're hearing on the radio, maybe not always streaming, but hearing on the radio, who inspires you musically right now?
I'll let you go first. I have
Well,
some-
I'm really inspired just because of my nature of my work and getting to see a lot of new artists. That's my favorite part of my job. It's a thankless job at times, but you're really helping people and young ones. Like you mentioned earlier, Cody Hibbard.
Yes.
Great guy, doing phenomenal.
Yes.
Last year, I saw him at the Yard House the first time by himself.
Yep.
He had like 6,000 fans with one song on Spotify, and now he's got over like close to 70,000 active listeners every 28 days.
Yep.
We just released a great single on him a few weeks ago
Yes.
that was
Is that
added
for
to
the record?
No,
Or his
that was
newest
the EP. Yeah, Ice Cold Therapy.
Yes, Ice
was
Cold
a
Therapy.
single. Came out at the end of July. It got added to one of the Spotify editorial playlists, so he's really doing great. Also, Cannon Brand is another
great
one, a
local
really
guy.
young guy that's really,
Yep.
really excited about him. Someone that's just getting out of high school that already has an EP behind him, and decent growing his writing and
Yeah.
stuff.
And such a great stage presence too for somebody his age. You can tell he is very at home
Exactly.
there
Very
on stage.
Exactly.
Yeah, and he's like 18 years old.
I know, it's crazy.
Let's say that Josh Ward is a local guy
Yes.
that has been around for a while. I've been working with him for over a decade now. It's been exciting watching him grow
Yes.
and go from just something regional here to really kind of a semi-national
Mm-hmm.
act now. We did a Billy Bob's on him a couple
Yes.
years ago,
Right.
which
I
is
have that one
actually
too.
on Amazon Prime too. You can watch the concert on Amazon
Yes,
Prime
you
on some
absolutely
stuff
can.
on that stuff with him. So it's exciting watching him grow. Of course, you mentioned Caleb earlier. We just got a great pool of artists within a stone's throw of right here in downtown Conroe that is quite impressive, really.
Yeah, it really is. And to see them bringing back open mic nights, trying to keep these guys going and keep their music writing inspired, and it's just as a music lover, it's wonderful to hear, and as somebody in this community, it's wonderful to see the injection into the economy and business keep rolling on the best we can.
It is awesome.
Yeah.
You guys and you guys are doing a great job too. We love it.
Well, my wife and I are trying to develop a food truck park behind Sonic in downtown. We hope to get that started by the end of the year and building. And we've been working on it for a
That's-
couple of years, and
That's excellent. That's
there'll be a
excellent.
space for music to be played live
course.
there in an event space, and it's underneath the shade and kind of COVID friendly outside and inside. So we're excited to bring that also, and invest in our personal stuff in the Conroe because it means that much to us.
Yeah, well, I thank you so much. I'm so glad y'all are here today because it's so nice to talk about hopeful topics and all of
Great.
this.
It is.
If you have any questions, make sure that you let us know. Go check out these guys. And we've got CDs here. If you want to hear some amazing, inspirational, soul-stirring gospel music, you really can't get any better than the Honorable Reverend Sleepy Ray. And make sure you check out these guys. I assume y'all probably have some shows coming up here pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm looking to play over at the Yard House. I just met with Teak a couple of days ago for 21st, opening up for Zach Walter, and then also on the 30th on Sunday, Gospel Brunch. Again, our music's not your typical gospel, so if you like Texas country music or you like blues, that's what you're going to hear when you come. And
It's so
you know,
fun.
yeah.
Awesome.
It's so fun, and you leave
Swing.
energized and happy and feel the hope in your soul.
Yeah,
It's a lot of fun.
Thank you guys so much for being
Yes,
with us
thank y'all
today.
for being
Awesome.
here.
Awesome.
And keep doing what you're doing. Keep bringing encouraging live music here in the Conroe area.
We've got a couple good shows coming up in the future here. So
Yeah, we do. So make sure that you mark your calendar for every Wednesday at 12 noon right here on Lone Star Community Radio for Toast of the Town with Christy and Mel, where we bring and celebrate the best of Montgomery County, including you gentlemen. Here's to you.
Toast to the
Thank y'all for
town.
everything you're doing.
Cheers.
Y'all make it a great week, and we will see you next Wednesday.
Today's show was recorded and broadcasted live on irlonestar.com, Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1, and all rights and ownership are reserved to Lone Star Community Radio. For more information regarding this program and Lone Star Community Radio, visit us online at irlonestar.com. Lone Star Community Radio is Montgomery County's community radio station, serving the community with local programming on TV, radio, and online. If you enjoyed today's program, please support us by sponsorship or starting your own show. Contact us today by phone or text at 936-666-1084 or email the station at lscrstudios@gmail.com.